everyone, and welcome to Full Moon by GOBS Collective. What you're going to see tonight are words and poetry inspired by the moon, assembled over 8 months and 9 full moons. So join us on this journey that starts with one small step.
Broken bodies, broken souls, only a song can make us whole.
Broken bodies, broken souls, only a song can make us whole. Broken bodies, broken souls, only a song can make us whole.
Coal moon, you tear me out of this earth, shiny pebble, smooth to silk, veined surfaces camouflaged in colours of dirt, coal, green ferns, rowan trees, rooted in blood. A shadow farmer on the hill watches me emerge from wet soil, wiping his oily hands clean, pulling at heartstrings. Black gold lies on the mountain path. Fresh air twists with wisps of smoke, charcoal, forest pine. Sheep pass this way, scattering skulls, cracking open secret stories. Boxing hares brace themselves, using me as a foothold, the moon as a timeless frame. In the smouldering town below, a monster roars, opens its mouth, grinding gear groans into action. Slag heaps stand stagnant on fragments of ancient fields. Trees call out, felled by man's burning greed. The egg moon looms, brittle face fused to sky, placed on a pedestal, then falling into Celtic rituals of worship. I am born here, stone cold. Ravens pick vernix wax from birth. A valley slows, is struck quiet, only ashes remain. Sessile oak sees, I am rock, I will return to this earth.
What do you do? Things change from one day to the next. A bit like the weather. Uncertainty. Blue to grey to blue. If life were consistent, how would we grow? How would we evolve? How do you define worth? Blue to grey to blue. Accept the things we can't change and make changes to the things we can. Your audacity, my vulnerability, forgiveness. Blue to grey to blue. Life's not a competition. It's not about comparison. My worth is not a title or a label. Blue, grey, to blue. one fine night, one firework got out of control. Launching towards us, I pressed my belly to the wall, turned my back to the threat in hopes my bones would shield you. Cold hands, cold feet. I'd leave the oven door open after cooking, trying to get some heat in the place, and you were such an unhappy child. Demanding, born angry, always on with something. Born angry like you knew what was to come, and me trying to find shoe money for feet that never stopped shocking grown, and I have to say it. I have to confess, I feel that I never found my thing. Spat out for taxpayers and not a lot else, and I would do anything for you. And your siblings. If you were all falling off the cliff, you'd all have to go toppling over because I couldn't choose, and the loans, all the fucking debt, everything from a catalogue, and your poor mama and granddad and you eating their pensions, and despite it all, you will never love me the way that I love you. You can't hold all this in you, in little you. I once held your head whilst you cried all night through a fever, sweating and sick, and me bent over you in prayer, and mother on her knees begging for you to be well. You're crying, jostling the joints of our home, ringing through the steeple of our attic. I was ready to go with you into sickness, into death. You are the ultimate sacrifice. Act like it.
Of home. Your renewal is not for witnessing. The wheel of fortune. In your turn you toss a coin in the air and follow the pathway of consequence. Chariot. Control is yours to steer as you see fit, promised with such focus and furrowed brow.
July 2021. A skull full of your character, drawn up on reams, sheets, ever-changing figure. A life grouted into the seams of those profile images I plastered into thine eyes. Systematic theology, lacking logical. Your loyal disciples surround and look to you, a shining idol, a family man. Oh, wondrous face, a smile I will get to know and follow into darkest dawns. We meet, hushed, striding towards the holy ground. A pew lighted in soft candle, and then you. And as you pull out your earphones, the warmth escapes past your stone lobes. And I tried to join in with your Messiah speeches, but my words, they fell and they just spluttered like plump leeches. Memories flood. finding out the tooth fairy isn't real and the sky is blue for a reason. And as you kept spewing, the cold winds began to breeze in. This was a confession. Me, a priest in fishnets and a glittering face. After consoling him gracefully, I stumbled back home, falling into the sacred resting place. Cloud in the humdrum house. The next day I lost my religion, but promised to find a faith in myself. December 2021. You bought me a toothbrush. Blue, shiny, new. Awaiting my next visit, propped up next to yours. Intimidated, surrounded by razors, radox, and hazy mirrors. I found it on the bathroom floor one day, trying to escape. An omen, a cursed object, once a sign of hope. Did you throw it away? Is a new girl using it? Anyway, they take 500 years to decompose. A relic of a failed courtship lives on for 500. And toothbrushes in landfills remind us that cold and harsh belongs in the trash. So let us concentrate on the minty, fresh paste. It foams, refreshes my tongue, ready for a new taste. Today, I am not a structural marvel. It's simple. I'm a reliable pillow. I miss my exes and 11 years on, and I still miss my nan like we were watching Sabrina on the sofa just yesterday. But there's a strength in how my sentiments are linked, intertwined. And if the time arrives, I'll love you and myself, densely, bolted, but pillows just can't breathe.
Gazing at the same moon. Me on those tomb-quiet streets, longing for him. On the banks of November rivers, waiting for it. On those walks to work, murmuring tunes to myself. You, on the slick black deck of a foreign sea, on after-dark drives through the Turkish zones, on unholy attempts to commune with the dead. Him, on the wooded slopes to the threshing floor, on feast days looking for signs of God, on the stoop of a coffee house woozy with wine. Then, on their wooden boats to another war, on a shore, ears pricked for a siren's call, at the altar, letting blood for angry gods. Moon, Selene, bright old coins, sometimes gold, sometimes silver, one side Buddha, the other Alexander. Dropped in the seas of time, it bobs from his to mine, 1 year to the next. Like January, straddling the years. Eyes straight ahead and back to the past. But not just one face, two, and each containing more. We've all been burned by the same sun. Me on the playground kicked in the face, you in the red pods cocking your gun, him in the vineyard wary of snakes, and them by the pyres burning their dead. And in the east it rises, the horizon where our line, our vine, our kind began, the pyramids of us. In the dusty streets where vendors swat the flies away, in the ribbon light of parted drapes where one man kisses another's name. In the shadows of a hidden room, because sunlight finds disgrace.
They called her Needle. Descended from a long line of seamstresses on her mother's side. Needle was a medical miracle. Where most babies can't bear the weight of their heads, Needle leapt out the womb, ready with thread to apologize for tearing her mother in two. With a spank, a snip, Needle was cast out into the world. Crocheting before she could crawl, her childhood was a pinprick. Brief and sharp. Everyone said she was as cute as a button. As a teen, Needle went overseas to master her craft. There she learned how to mend, to spin thread from the stems of flowers given to her as apologies. Needle graduated with honours. Everyone said she was born to backstitch. Needle returned, opened an at-home boutique. Soon, throngs of people lined up on her front porch, waiting to be sewn back together. Needle smiled. She'd found her purpose. And when smiling got too tiring, she tacked the corners of her mouth in place, paid no mind to the piles of old fabric mounting in her basement, and before she knows it, Needle is sinking in the patchwork sands of her own creation. So steely, so thin, no one can find Needle in this haystack of silk and satin. The neighbours watch in horror as yards of leather and velour erupt from the shop front, and there is Needle, mummified, devoured by her own designs. Needle strains to pluck the taps from the corners of her lips. She gasps, gurgles, a threaded newborn creature, her fingers clawing at the seam of her spine. She contorts, a kamikaze of cashmere and cotton, as she excavates herself from the bondage of her own skin. And with that last stitch, she steps out of her body bag. She leaves it for her mother to find, hoping she will forgive her. The end of a long and silver line. She watches over a room of one's own and £500 a year. That's what women need. No more poverty and no more exclusions. Education, art, politics, economics, end the exclusions. Virginia Woolf, she knew a thing or two. But the moon she watches over, sending down her moonlight. The world goes to war. Women are needed. Plough the fields, work in the factories. Still no votes, no combat roles, and many exclusions. The women
obey with enthusiasm, accepting their lot as the biblical foretelling. Then yet another war, bigger and uglier. All hands on deck. Bletchley Park code breakers, tapping away in secrecy in the dark, dingy rooms. No one shall know the role she played, no one shall know. The munitions factory, enrolling women, working long shifts, exhausted. Women must assist. The country insists. The moon continues with her phases. She understands all. This game that is played, she watches it all. Man lands on the moon. Women demand bigger and better. They will not be chained to their kitchen sinks. Rock music and miniskirts, they have it all. The bankman smiles, refusing yet another mortgage. You need a male guarantor. She works long hours for very little pay, an outdoor worker, lock stitching, overlocking. House and children? Yes, still here too. You've got to do what you've got to do. Manufacturing moves to China. The factory's closed. Living in poverty, she continues. Her pension linked to her husband. The tax man has decided. But the moon, she sends down her magical moonlight energy, touching those in need. They connect to her to manifest their desires. Hey Nan, I've got a job, working from home, so I can look after the kids, run the house, and have a work-life balance. Nan nods. Outdoor workers are in fashion again. A room of one's own and £500 a year. What else could a woman want?
I traded therapy sessions for an ice cream parlour where each flavour's a chunk of brain, apple core directly from my skull. I worked there since I was 17, serving the ghosts of myself, taster spoons of trauma, scoop after scoop after scoop, one lick to spiral me down a monochrome loop. For 3-year-old me, the taste of Cornish is vanilla but way better, unproblematic, no surprises, luxurious clotted cream, a cashmere dream that slips down my tongue. Vera's hands have Play-Doh finger pads that stay indented when I press mine onto hers. Those same hands hold me when I poke a foot on the sand. Scream seagulls out my mouth when I feel the grains in between my toes. Those same hands, bright sunshine. 18-year-old me goes straight to the Italian selection. Neapolitan shows half my bloodline sat in 2 rows, a last supper between us. Luciano's at the head of the table, sipping red wine, cracking jokes. We laugh, scoff cannelloni, casually choke on Pinot Silvestre after shaven wafts of Marlboro smoke.
Francesca!
Seen on that.
Give me pasta. We didn't have enough pasta, no?
Later wrestling the last of Nestle's Neapolitan out the tub. Basta, basta. Not the sauce, is the mesce marinara flowing through these veins. My bones constructed with rigatoni and sheltered in a limoncello membrane. There's no toxicity on the spoon this time. Let's bask in the fragola e vanilla delight. Chocolate. 8-year-old me loves chocolate. She comes in once a month. Expensive gold knots hang from her ears. A gift brought back from Baccarat, the family jewellers in Atribal da Campagna. A hand reaches up to the counter. She's greedy, wants to self-serve, but this chocolate, it's rich, with a hint of bitterness. There's chunks of Cadbury's flake hidden in it. And she's scoffing, scoop after scoop after scoop, sliding down the monochrome loop. I'm holding her hair. Those same golden knots shake as she retches, trying to forget the 6 sketches etched from the melting cocoa sludge at the back of her eyelids. In solidarity, I pick up a scoop of chunky chocolate ice cream, shove it in my mouth. Flake pieces choke my insides until I scream and retch beside her. I shut up the shop, mop the brown sick, pooling in the scuffs of the lino floor. A rap on the glass snaps me out the chop drama. And she's there, the ghost from the future, smiling wide and mouthing, "Is there any Cornish left?"
Bright kids, year 6, ready for the next stage. It's strange, one kid still can't spell their name. Worried, so I encourage a little extra push. But even with support, those grades don't budge. But they seem so aware, it's hard to explain. It's not like the other kids. It's just not the same. They miss school, playing truant. But the eyes are full of pain, like receiving the cane happiness slain. It studies history, but doesn't seem present. Yet, doesn't want to go home after lessons. Why so reluctant? That's the question. Future lessons? Yeah, that might be so testing. I shouldn't make assumptions on home life. To my surprise, the parents seemed nice. Then I've realised you don't have their eyes. Positivity and love doesn't run in the blood. I'm trash. I'm rubbish, worth nothing. Who am I? I've already been given 3 names before I was 5. Am I really just a number in the system? 14 by age and I still struggle to spell my name. This mum's passed out again, so I can get to the wine. At least she's got no energy to beat me like the 3rd mum. All night, throwing up down the system. Drag myself to bed, my head spinning way past wavy. My pink hoodie's stained, so I pull it off. And now I'm cold. It's silent as Dad's engine pulls it close. But I recognise that tyre screech. Now I smile. Daddy's home. He found Mum passed out, sprawled on the sofa. He saw me the same when he looked over his shoulder. At that point, he left her. Daddy attended to me. I woke up, I'm trash, I'm rubbish, worth nothing. I tell the social workers this every day, but they don't hear me. I've learned that nobody listens. My experiences don't lead to a traditional job. Positivity and love has never ran in my blood. Here lies our dearly beloved. Please rise and bow your head as we pray for another. Young soul on the path to redemption, one who came to pay penance, but I have to mention, this untimely demise should come as a lesson. A child's pain in the eyes, pay attention. Neglect the neglected, they're double affected. It's unfortunate to see the empty seat section. Addiction wasn't the infliction, it was a lack of affection. Moment of silence. It's time for reflection. You're not trash, no, you're a blessing. Despite what you said in confessions. So I say to everybody in attendance, this poor child could have been any one of us. If you only take away one sentence, positivity and love should run your blood.
Priestess, you sit in the echoing unspoken, dependent on your silent advocate. Temperance. The scale is level. You find your balance. Moderation on terms that you dictate. That determined path, paced unrelentant, as you commit to the extraordinary.
You said, what do you want for breakfast? Cereal or toast? As my 9-year-old feet thud down the stairs, sleepy eyes barely open and unbrushed hair, fueling my body with soggy Rice Krispies, all washed down with Jack Daniel's whiskey. I said, is he okay? You said no, he's passed away. Now the globe is a still flame, an edge of adolescent body looking for someone to blame. My warmth is torn out of my left, half of it stolen from my chest, disconnected and withering, the bottle on the table shimmering. You said, maybe you're confused today. I said, no, Mum, I am gay. Exposed completely by the 3 words I swore would never whistle through my lips, concealing my truth until my solar eclipse. I lost a mother and a father until they realised they would lose another child, me. A long way turned me to potions, as they could set me free. You said you're young, you can drink as much as you want. At first it was fun, but never did I think I'd use this substance to make me feel numb, devouring more and more any time, any day of the week, until my heart gave up and took her last beat. You said, every time I see you, you're always drunk or high. You need to stop or you're gonna collapse and die. Everyone overlooked the sincerity because of my age. They couldn't see my cry for help, intellect disengaged. The lace juice and fairy dust brought out the truth from my core. All of what I thought were my flaws, my cursed memories that made me a cursed memory for others. You said that when the clock hits 22:22, you think of me and I think of you. I said, I'm sorry. Can't love you. I was trying to escape while you forced me to stay. I was binded with tape, you were blinded with a concept of love, living in this dream world, only looking up above, ignoring my seemingly incomprehensible state every time it occurred again and again. You said that when you touch my lips, you can make me feel alive. Then why do you make me feel like my insides have been scrubbed and erased? You've unpacked my vital organs, shredded my binding veins, distorted my self-worth. And now the clock is moving slower and I'm still waiting for the alarm to go off. Silence remains, taking center stage. I wait for the pain to tick on by, instead it defines me. Imposed on the past, each slice of laceration entirely disfigures my being. One thing that's not spoken about enough today is a young person's addiction that never goes away. It stays right there in the head, and it taunts them because they're too young to rest. You said, Nanai, God bless. You still love me, even when I love myself less and less.
smoke. Chitter-chatter clattering like swords, and stuporous eyes battling to see straight to dawn. Dom is on a mission. Feet thunderclap in the street. The scent of the club coaxing him, hanging in the air like freshly baked banana bread. Urgent thoughts, boom of bass line in his head. Dom seeks the company of his absent-minded friends. He spots Johnny. There he is, leaning against the wall amongst a Where's Wally crowd of people. Dom pirouettes his way through. Mate, why aren't you in the queue? Johnny's eyes are a solar eclipse. The moon sits in his iris, as full as tonight's. It's blocking out the light. Waiting for you, Johnny chews on nothing but the words. His hand lifts as if it's ready to slap. Dom grabs it, a two-man clap. They draw in close and pat each other's backs. Pulling away, a small package strays from one palm to another. Dom, with the quick wit of a fox, shoves it away in his boxes. Johnny's smile morphs. A Cheshire Cat grin dwarfs his face. Inside, the lights mimic the people, chaotic and dancing, darting around with no real reason. Dom tries to find solace in a human face. He tries to connect with a pacing person, puff of smoke, chitter-chatter clattering like swords, and stuporous eyes battling to see straight to dawn. Black holes placed where eyes used to sit. Lone limbs exploring this pit. Awareness dimmed by the drugs and rum. Dom decides to join them. Over there, Johnny roars, reuniting with a troop of baboons, a bunch of boys barking in the corner. Dom takes his chance to slip to the loo. Step, step, lock, click, sniff, sniff, quit, quit. Heart is skipping now as Dom stumbles out. Lights louder than before, music brighter now. He approaches the bar, and a feather of a girl floats behind it. She turns and grips Dom's gaze, throws one back, inviting him to play a game of catch. But his thoughts are shifting tectonic plates. His pupils are pools of tar. His skin is inside out. His heart is a flickering star, dying. His nostrils, fated to fail him, bleed a bead of vermilion. He escapes to the garden. Though no grass grows here, just dandelions peeping through the cracks in the concrete. There are puffs of smoke, chitter-chatter clattering like swords, stuporous eyes battling to see straight to dawn.
An old wooden lobster holds its claw in the air. Roadside squeak in the wind. I grip your hand as we cross the road. A crow swoops along the balcony above our heads as we clop inside the old saloon. There's a Christmas tree in the corner. All the baubles are cowboy hats. diamonds and hearts. All the old boys are sat around reading their futures from a deck of cards. The moon beats down onto the dirt outside where the ace of spades digs into the earth, where a wolf lurks howling at the bloody crater of a bullet in a rich man's chest. Everyone's dealt with so much death already. You wipe the mud from your forehead. Ask me to give you a hand burying the bastard. I weakly pull at the edges, wondering about his mother. You tip your hat, kick the body, and he rolls back into the heartbeat of the earth. The fingertips of our barkeep pulse against your whiskey bottle. He slides it across the mahogany bar, and as it reaches your palm, it knocks the Queen of Hearts off the edge. You spit on the bottle, polish it with your handkerchief before taking a swig. The gramophone twinges with, "Hey, good looking, hey, good looking, hey, good looking." You flick a gold coin in the air, turn to me and say, "We're gonna own this town."
Lovers, go seek your partnered peace in compromise, comfort in the soft warmth of another. Doctrine bound by a silent legacy, now full supplicant of the status quo. Strength. Massage your limbs in an assuredness, reveling in the power that you find.
Slipstream, where I hang on one hip and words preserve side by side, exchange decay in 50mm monologues, slow dance in small spaces, sharing next day delivery static.
This one's great.
And I am bursting to sit in this spin, to send sorry paper bouquets through the lowest letterboxes, from this capsule and felt tip free verse where every swear is a sonnet, and listen, Just outside, they are shedding the smiles they tried on in the dark.
There's no loo roll. This one's blocked. Will you hold the door? It don't work.
See, this is our tiled sanctum of survival. We echo together from our confessionals, and I confide from my own handwritten hollow. I've lost my friends. We didn't choose a place before the night took us. I'm absolved by an anonymous manicure, feet blasting, God knows what.
You can hang with us until you find them.
It says.
Oh, babe, please don't cry. It's all right. I'll hold your hand.
No judgment, remember. You've been there before. And soon off the spectator seats to read the night by the synced sheet music in chorus. Fly tip tissue kisses, loose acrylics, eyelash wishes, resting on the wilted lime wedges. This is where compliments refract, repaid from fresh lips.
Aw, thanks so much. So do you.
And still we pretend we don't feel it. That thickness that threatens to slip through the triptych, that lands heavy on locked doors, that grasps the hand stamped with promise, that lines the stomach with shame, that falls from dehydrated mouths that say,
You don't get it. Just only had 2 drinks.
Can you zip me back up into these man-made expectations, purified with tequila salt and poorly reapplied politeness, ready to return to flood the night's hardest edges and flirt in characters as outdated as our mascot's triangle dresses? Do you think she hears us on the other side of that door, overflowing from this room of one's own where we leave the breath before? Text me when you get home.
Years old, walking home along Alfreton Road. My ears remember the bass line pulsating from the garage party my mum didn't know I was at. Remembers the car creeping behind. My nostrils remember the skunk smoke unravelling into the night from the tinted windows, the 4 pairs of male eyes measuring the width of my hips and my waistline. And one of them called, "Yo, Slimmers!" And the next one bragged, "My dick will snap her spine." I remembered how they followed me, how my hands became fists. Nails cut imprints into my palms. I remember how I escaped, but the month after, Zena was found, bruised, swollen. I remember walking from the supermarket in Prima Porta, the thread-like road, the 34 degrees sun. My hairs on my arms remember standing on end when the 2 men in the white van hissed, "Bella fica, quanta costa?" Their chugging engine. My muscles remember how they tensed when the van stopped. Doors opened. My wrists remember their clammy grip, how they cornered me against the thick of green, how quickly I became feral and scratching. My voice remembers my teeth remembers how it clenched when a male friend casually suggests, "Don't wear shorts when walking home." I decided not to call the police. My hips remember the eyes of the policeman in Kingston, how they strip searched my safety, how the dark of night and his eyes were inescapable, how he laughed and rubbed his groin and said, "Just my nature, you know." My body records the undulating violence that disfigures a walk into mathematical equation. Speed, distance, time. How slow is that car creeping? How fast can I run? How close is that man walking? Will I make it home? This time.
The moon. And so must end those fearful lives that must be concluded ere moonrise. Folks, thank you so much for coming along to watching Full Moon. The zines on your chairs are for you to keep. If you have not already kept them, please keep them. Please check out the rest of what is going on at Nottingham Poetry Festival. There is so much incredible stuff for you to check out. Enjoy the rest of your poetry festival. Thank you and good night.